She my part-time, and she got sense, so it's gonna be alright. She my part-time, and she love me through the hard times. She my part-time girlfriend. She my part-time girlfriend. She my part-time girlfriend.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to this week's episode of Your Sports Place with Mason Place. This week's episode, we have UK football player Josh Paschal join the show. He's also a cancer survivor like me. So if you would, just give this a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I hope y'all enjoy.
What's up, bro?
What's up?
No, I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I'm glad our my mom's friend got us in touch. I didn't realize we had so many similarities.
Yeah, for real. I didn't know that either. I saw you had interviewed Ricky too.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ricky's my boy. I love Ricky to death. Like, to me, Ricky's like a big brother. Like I just love him so much. He's done so much for me and just been there for me like basically my whole life. So I love him. You got a good. What'd you say?
Oh, what you about to say?
I said you know Ricky well.
Oh yeah, I remember. What was it, my freshman year, my sophomore year, like before COVID, basically.
Uh-huh.
Like, he's the one person that beats the whole like workout times for teams. Like he'll be in there like 5 a.m. and like drenched in sweat working out, like he's still playing. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy. I love him to death though.
He's cool.
For sure. So let's I just want to talk a little football first. So this year, 2020, that was the weirdest year I think all of us have ever experienced, and sports were just completely changed by it. What was the differences between playing and this year's compared to your previous years?
I'll probably just say the testing. You had to get tested so much, and it wasn't. You could be a type of guy like most of us were, where we just went from the facility to home because we're nervous about getting the virus. But I remember it's just like that post-test anxiety that you get, that you just don't know like if it's gonna come back positive or negative, and then it's a couple games where you're missing key players because they got a false positive or something like that, or they got the virus and they don't even know how to contract it. So that's probably the craziest thing, is that like not even knowing who they're gonna really have at the next game.
Yeah, that I'm sure that was tough. Was the fans not being there, was that a big difference for you all?
I would say for the SEC it wasn't that big of a difference because it was still fans. It just wasn't like sold out, in my opinion. Like the first game we played Auburn, I was expecting it to be like a high school game with the attendance, but that game was like jumping. Like that game, it had a lot of people and it was loud. And then the games at Kentucky, the games were loud too. So I didn't really. I mean, of course, I'm gonna see the difference once we get fans again.
Yeah,
because I'm really like pay attention to it. But I feel like the fans did a good job of at least making it seem somewhat normal.
Yeah, well, it was weird because like different states had different laws or whatever. So, some states and schools could have, more attendance and stuff than others. So I'm sure that was just weird for programs all across the country.
So I know Penn State, they didn't even have any fans.
Are you serious?
Penn State, that's supposed to be
Yeah.
100,000 people sold out in that stadium. So that's probably a big difference between, like, even with the players, they expected to go there so they can play in front of all those people. And then the first year they probably got there, they can't even play in front of them.
Yeah, and they're playing in front of fake crowd noise and stuff like that. That's silly.
For real.
But so how are you preparing for this next season? Like for yourself personally?
Just by trying to increase those small things in my game that could, make me a better prospect at the next level, but also make me a better player for my team going into next year. So, just focusing on those things. Of course, we have those workouts early in the morning, but just trying to later on that day, just focus on those small things, getting a second workout in to improve maybe my pass rush or go into the film room and improve my football knowledge, my football IQ, and try to steal a couple plays just by looking at certain formations and tendencies and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear you're working hard. What are some of the positives you're seeing in the team so far next year?
I'll probably say the people that's coming back and the people that we have coming in. I feel like that's a big boost, especially offensively. We have the coach from the Rams coming back in. That's after they had a good playoff run. They went to the
Yeah.
playoffs, and then we have Chris Rodriguez coming back, Kavasi Smoke. We have Wandale coming in, which is going to be a great player. And so, we just have hope. A lot of hope on that side of the ball, and a lot of hope that we can really, do something great this year. I
Yeah.
think that it's a lot of competitiveness too. So I know even just between the offense and the defense, we're ready to compete against each other in spring ball and things like that. And I feel like that's what's going to make you a great team, is that competitiveness.
Yeah. Well, UK, I mean, the past few years we've dominated the run game. Like, that's been our strong suit on offense. And adding Wandale, that makes it even better. And so I'm just excited to see, what the quarterback situation will be, if it'll be Joey or Bo Allen or who Coach Deuce will end up picking in the end. And I think the run game's still going to be solid. I mean,
I think so too.
and our O-line is always top of the country every year, it seems like.
Especially since you got the leaders coming back. You got DK coming back, and you have Luke Fortner. And they both could have went to the next level. And Luke's a real smart guy. He's an engineer major, and so for him to even come back and be a part of that group again, it brings that leadership factor, but also brings that mental piece that you need as an offensive line.
Yeah. I hope this year we'll be able to play a full schedule, play non-conference games, play Louisville, and that sort of stuff. So
Me too. We haven't played Louisville, but this is my first time I haven't played Louisville. Well, of course, it's everybody's first time, but it just didn't feel the same. Like, you're supposed to be playing them right after Thanksgiving.
yeah. When was your first year playing them? Was that Lamar's year?
Yeah, it was Lamar's last year.
Oh, it was his last year?
Yeah, it was his last year. It was
Okay.
the trash can that year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you weren't a part of the team that beat him?
Nah, I wasn't.
No.
That was my senior year in high school.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. I remember that. I was in shock.
Yeah, I seen that game. I saw some highlights, and I watched. I think I watched the end of that game too. But yeah, Lamar Jackson was the truth.
Oh yeah, he's a baller, man, and he's a baller in the NFL too.
Mm-hmm.
He's crazy. My roommate in the other room, he's the biggest Louisville fan I know, and he just loves Lamar, like nonstop talking about him. So we got UK and Louisville in this household, so it causes some arguments every now and then.
I said, it's a nice little clash.
Yeah. So moving on from football, and to talk about some of our similarities, I'm a cancer survivor. You are as well. What was your experience like with cancer, and like how you found that out, and just all of that?
So I originally found it out. I'd probably say either early spring or late winter of 2018. I just found like a small spot on my foot, and basically, long story short, it really progressed until right before the season started, right before we started camping, about July. Early July, late June is when I actually got it checked out, because we wanted to get it checked out before the season had started, and my trainers had actually found a spot. When you get your ankles taped and things like that, that's the only time that the trainers lay at the bottom of your foot. And so I actually had got a biopsy on it from a dermatologist, and they said that it was abnormal cells. That was the preliminary results. So I just decided to get it removed so that, I could be back by the first game and everything would be good. It's supposed to be my breakout year. We had a great year that year for Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so I went to my checkup appointment, and they had just told me that it was different than what they had thought when they went down to get the melanoma out, and that it was deeper than what they thought. and that they were going to require second surgery to take a larger margin out, but also take my lymph nodes out of my groin to test those. And so after that, I had another surgery, and I got my test done in my lymph nodes and my groin, and they just found a trace amount in my lymph nodes, so that's why I had to get the treatments, the immunotherapy treatments. But I feel like a lot of positivity came out of that as well. Like, people look at it as all negativity. I know it's a terrible, terrible thing, but just in my story, there's just so many positive things that came out of that, just from me being able to impact others, but also being able to share my story, share my testimony, and just be there for other people who may be going through the same situation, but I'm looking for motivation. I'm looking for someone that been through the same thing as them.
Yeah, man. No, that's exactly how I feel. I despise cancer. It's terrible. I've lost too many friends to cancer. I had it when I was younger, so I got involved with a lot of people that had it, and I just know tons of people that have had it and are battling it and stuff. And so I hate the disease. But for me personally, I agree with you. It was a positive for my life, and it helped build my testimony, just like you said. And then recently I had the brain tumor that just appeared out of nowhere, and that wasn't cancerous, but that looking back, that may have been the biggest blessing that's ever come into my life, was a brain tumor. Like, imagine someone saying that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it really is, dude. Like, I feel like I've grown so close to God through this, and just figured out really who I am. And I've went through the darkest time of my life through this brain tumor, but it just put everything together for me.
Exactly. It's like the first time. Well, for me, it was like the first time where, because I got baptized and came out to Christ in April of 2018, and this happened in June, late June, early July. And so this is the time where I really just couldn't control anything. Like, everything was just in His hands, and I just had to trust Him and trust His plan for me, because like, it's not like a football type thing where you can just rehab something and then you'll come back. It's just like a trusting thing. It's something bigger than you. And I just feel like that was the first time I just fully had to trust in the Lord.
Yeah. So you got saved like right before you found out you had cancer?
And the crazy thing is that I remember a testimony that I had in the spring, and it was from Scott Long. He's actually from Louisville. And he said the one thing I remember from his testimony was just saying how the hardest times of his life came after he gave his life to Christ. And that he felt like it was God telling him that, like, hey, you need me. And that's the one thing I remember from the testimony. And then a couple of months later, I was in a similar situation.
Yeah. Well, dude, like for me, I grew up in Christian school. I went there from kindergarten to 6th grade, went to church every Wednesday and Sunday, the whole 9 yards, and it never clicked. Like, I didn't realize what actually being a Christian was. Like, I just thought you had to follow the rule book, but it's not about the rules. It's about what Jesus did.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get saved until college, like my freshman or sophomore year. I think it was my sophomore year at college.
Yeah.
Like, and that was what was I 20, something like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy, bro. I grew up this whole time and it didn't click. And then afterwards, this crazy stuff starts happening to me. And that's when I just really have grown so close to God. Like, I've never felt closer to Him in my life. And
Exactly.
I love it. Like, I truly do. And I went through this weird phase of really bad depression, and I still battle that, but like, that's where I really had to say, look, Lord, you're gonna have to do this. Like, I'm giving it all to you.
Exactly.
And he he took it, and he did what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just give him all the praise, man.
Yeah, because that's what it really comes down to, is that relationship with them. And that's like the best relationship, of course, you could ever have.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
you can literally have a relationship with the creator of the universe. And that will literally change lives. Everybody has like a different story and a different testimony, and that's just so unique because everybody's different. Everybody's going to have a different walk, but eventually it'll lead towards the Lord.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy. I'm writing a book actually, right now about everything that's happened in my life because I've had lots of crazy things, and I just piece it together how it all these negative things that have happened in my life lead to me being saved
Yeah,
and being a Christian and just the whole 9 yards. And then I put the gospel in there at the end and stuff. And I just think it's a beautiful book, and I really hope it can change lives, man. Like you were saying earlier, I wouldn't if I could go back in time and make it to where I didn't have cancer, blah blah blah, I wouldn't. I would do it all over again because I'm hopefully gonna impact people and help people.
yeah, I feel the same way. And just like I said, everybody has like their own story, and like you can use that to disciple others. And I feel like that's one of the best gifts that you can possibly ever have.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, did you having cancer, I guess that helped grow your faith even more? Like you say, it just grew it stronger.
Yeah, just because like when I was going through that, it was just I was so used to my whole life just working towards my goal and working towards my goal, and that was just the first time where I just had to pause, and I couldn't work towards that. I had to really just like I said, put my trust in the Lord. And I remember my mom when I first found out. My mom, and my sister actually put healing scriptures throughout my walls in my room. And so whenever I felt like I was getting down, anything like that, I can look to my left or my right, and it would be healing scripture saying like, "Through your faith, you are healed." And so just to be surrounded by not only the Lord but by fellow believers such as my family, and be around them where they can lift me up and really just be there for me. I feel like that's support is what I needed in that time as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I I needed support from my pastor, from my dad, just people from the church. When I found out about the brain tumor, my parents were in Florida, or I think it was Florida. I don't remember. They're at the beach somewhere. And like all I had to call and tell them about that. And I was terrified. And all of a sudden, all these people from the church were just calling me, trying to be there for me, supporting me. And that's what I needed most. I needed the prayers and just the Christian foundation there with me because I couldn't have made it without God. I really couldn't have.
And especially up at UK, we got like a FCA thing, which is like
Uh-huh.
the Fellowship of Christian Athletes with UK.
Yeah.
And so just being around that group of people as well. And that's really like we do it. We did it every Monday night, but it's hard because of COVID to like bring athletes from all different sports into one room.
Yeah.
But when we were doing this, things like that, it's just more of a getaway. It feels like I just got to go there and just serve the Lord and worship the Lord during that time, and also learn and soak some stuff in. But it was just like I had a couple of getaways. My one getaway was the church or like fellowship, regardless, and then my other getaway would be in the weight room, and like that's really where I could like clear my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, my getaways now are me spending time with the Lord and prayer and just studying His Word and doing devotionals and stuff, and then working on this brand.
Yeah,
And I'm just doing it to glorify Him in the end. Like that's really my main goal out of this, to glorify my Savior. So
exactly. Like that's what my like even with this football stuff and everything like that. Um, like I remember even my coaches would tell me because my coaches know about my faith and everything, and even if I'm upset after a game, because I put my all into every game, they'll tell me, this is not what your ultimate identity is in. I remember that happened after an away game this year. My coach White came up to me and just said, what your identity is ultimately in. You know that it's not going to hurt any less. Of course, you want it to hurt, but at the same time, as a man, you're a man of faith, not just a football player. And
yeah,
so just to even be around those guys who just like remind me of that, and hold me accountable. And that's more than I can ever ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it tough being like in the locker room with people who aren't saved sometimes and like have different mentalities as you? Do you like feel weird about that or not not?
Not really, just because even like growing up, um, growing up, you grow up around people and hang around people who may not have the same beliefs as you, but even when you get the opportunity to, you can speak some word into them. A lot of people, as a leader, as a team captain, and things of that sort, they ask me for advice, and so when they ask me for advice, I'll give them, you know, advice from the Lord and things like that. Advice from the Word, and so even if um, I'm talking to somebody and they don't know it's coming directly from that, they will, sooner or later get the picture. And yeah, just being a leader and things like that, you learn to surround yourself with everybody, associate yourself with everybody, and really just enjoy everyone's company.
Yeah. Now that's interesting you say that. My dad hits on that sometimes. It's you can be the one to plant the seed is what he says. You may not be the one that like in the end you're sitting there and he accepts Christ with you or she or whoever, but you could be the one planting the seed. So you just always have to be thinking about that and you know always trying to be Christ-like when you can.
Mm.
And it's hard to. I mean, I struggle with it. Everybody struggles with it. We
Yeah,
all fall short. So
especially as like a college athlete, like of course it's not easy, and it's temptation left and right and left and right,
oh yeah.
and of course it's not a perfect walk, because if it was a perfect walk, we wouldn't need Jesus, we wouldn't need his ultimate sacrifice. But um, of course, it's going to be temptations. It's going to be times where um, things are hard, but at the end of the day, we got a perfect Savior, and that's a blessing.
Absolutely. And obviously I'm not a college athlete, but I'm a college student and
Mhm.
you know,
Same thing.
I
Yeah.
it's the same thing, man. It's probably
Same.
the same temptations you have, that
Mhm.
I've had to dealt with before. And so it and I still deal with them to this day. So and
Yeah.
it'll never stop. We'll always be dealing with temptations and you know, we'll fall into them sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's where Jesus
Yeah.
comes in and that's why he's so beautiful. He's there to pick us up every time we fall.
Yeah. 'Cause I feel like that's what most people don't talk about is the hard times. Everybody talks about the good times and how everything's always perfect, things like that. But nobody ever gets like to talk about the thing that everyone has, which are mistakes and um, trials and tribulations. You know what I'm talking about? Like everything's
Yeah.
always so perfect with everybody, but um, one time I just want to like, I wish that people would just be real with each other, because to be able to even like go into a small group and realize that you guys are like struggling with the same thing, it could really you can hold each other accountable one thing, and then the other thing is you can really just learn from each other and really have someone who will be praying for you and will also understand what you're going through.
Yeah. And you said the word tribulations, and that reminded me of my favorite Bible verse that I have tattooed on me. It's
Mhm.
Jesus talking, and he says, in the world, you'll have tribulation, but take
Yeah,
heart, I've overcome the world.
yeah,
I mean, that's just like, that gives me chills every time I read it.
I
Like,
feel that.
it just, you always know that life's going to suck. There's going to be sucky moments that we go through, bro. But,
Mhm.
and like in the end, Jesus overcame every single one of them and he did it for us. So
Yeah.
it makes me so happy.
I was reading my devotional today, and it's about peace and how with the Lord that I remember even Aaron Holt, it kind of correlated to my devotional today. It was talking about how as Christians we automatically should have joy, hope, and peace, knowing that we have a Lord and Savior who saved ourselves. And that's what my devotion was about today, just having peace throughout your day and not letting that being taken away from any worldly things. That's so.
Yeah, no, that's some of the stuff I've been reading too, and because I've been dealing with a lot of unpeaceful times in life recently, and when I've just given myself to the Lord and let Him handle it, then that's where I find peace. And I just think about one day for eternity we will be at peace. We'll be in paradise forever, and that brings you peace in the current moment when you have thoughts like that.
Mm, I feel that too.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, God's the best.
We talk about that.
What'd you say?
I could talk about that all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So could I. So could I. Um, so to end this off, I always like to ask just like a random fun question to just bring something different to the table. So for you, I wanted to know if you could pick one artist to listen to for the rest of your life, who would it be and why?
Oh, this is hard. Um, I'm probably gonna say, you know who Black is? Six
Yeah,
Lack.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say him.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really between. It's three artists that would be between him, Drake, and Giveon. But I'm gonna go with Black.
Who was your last one?
Giveon.
Okay, I'm not sure I've heard him before.
He's an R&B artist, but most likely I'm gonna have to go with Black.
Yeah, no, he's hard, dude. I love, especially his first album. That was
hmm
that was very good. If I had to
I'm
choose
like a Black.
one, I'd probably pick The Weeknd.
The Weeknd. That's Phil. You know Phil Hoskins.
Yeah.
That's his favorite artist, like
Oh,
all
dude,
time.
I love The Weeknd. I mean, you see, I have Travis Scott behind me. Love him.
Yeah.
Love Led Zeppelin as well. Kanye.
Mhm.
But I don't know. The Weeknd just brings so much variety to the table for me. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be him.
He's definitely a great artist, though.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love the R&B type music and stuff. My last interview is with this up and coming R&B artist out of LA. You got to check him out. I think he's pretty good. He
Mhm.
kind of has like Khalid vibes if you
Yeah.
listen to him.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name's Austin. It's spelled Astn.
Mm-hmm. ASTM.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got. Is it like they have the EP called Mirror Mirror?
Do what?
That them. I'm trying to find it. Uh, I don't know if I can find it. What's the song by? Are they on Apple Music yet?
Yeah, he's on Apple Music and Spotify. His like biggest songs, it's called Butterflies, or his newest release is LA Don't Look Good on You.
I'm definitely gonna look into that.
Yeah. No, he's super cool, bro. Like our interview was super fun and we talked a lot of football and then obviously his musical career and stuff. And um I think his music's fire.
Mhm.
So
I'm gonna get that a listen. I like the name of the song too.
yeah. Yeah, no, he's good. And I've been making like some cinematic videography videos and stuff. And he let me or gave me permission to use his music in my videos on YouTube and stuff.
That's tough.
So yeah, so now I have his whole songs to put on there, which is fun.
hmm I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, bro, I appreciate you hopping on. I know you're about to go to the basketball game. So
Yeah, hopefully we can get the win.
yeah, this year's been tough for UK basketball.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team like this in my life. And I've been
Yeah.
watching my whole life.
Yeah, they'll bounce back. You know, just a little learning experience. But
Yeah, I think by the end of the season they'll be clicking and playing good.
mm,
So
for
and
sure.
this COVID stuff maybe is probably impacting them a lot and we're
Exactly.
not realizing it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are not realizing how much of an effect that has on like a student athlete at this point, especially with, like I said earlier, with all those tests and stuff, and not knowing when you're going to get test positive or if it's false positive, it's going to pop up and stuff like that. It's like draining, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the like good programs are down this year. Duke, UK,
Yeah.
Kansas,
Hmm.
UNC, all of them are just not playing well. So
Exactly.
I don't know what it is, but
I don't know what it is either. That is true.
we'll see. But I appreciate you hopping on, bro. This was a fun interview.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's stay in touch and maybe me, you, and Ricky can get together one day.
For sure. I'm down for that.
That'd be fun.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
bro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bro.
Bye.
She my part-time, and she got sense, so it's gonna be alright. She my